Hello, everyone. This is Ben Dunn, your AP Sensei, founder of ANDOR Press, a comic book company founded in 1985, celebrating its 40th year. Creator of such comics as Warrior Nun, Ninja High School, Mighty Tiny, Tomorrow Girl, and a host of other comic books. I just watched the first 3 episodes of Andor, and these are my thoughts on the series so far. Now, I am a big Star Wars fan, having seen the 1977 version, which is still the best version in my opinion, when I was a kid, right in the theaters when it opened. So, needless to say, Star Wars had a very big impact on me growing up. And still, I still love the series in the movies to this day. But what did I think of Andor? Well, I will tell you, honestly, in my opinion, it's a freaking glorious mess. What do I mean by that? Well, first 3 episodes came out. I watched all 3 episodes, and I have no idea what's going on. None whatsoever. There's like 5 separate storylines going on, and they're all jumbled. It's like you take a like a bag of Legos that have all been nicely separated, and all bagged, and you decide that it's better just to go ahead and open every bag, put them in one big one, and jumble them up and figure out how to make whatever it needs to make. This is the impression I get watching Andor. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, the story itself, had they focused on just maybe 1 or 2 stories, maybe an A plot and a B plot, that might have, won me over and, might have made a very good impression on me overall. But, okay, for those who don't know anything about Andor, Andor is a Star Wars series now on Disney Plus. It is a prequel series that takes place before the construction of the Death Star, and about a group of spies that are attempting to, about a group of spies helping the rebellion to get started. Now, I'll be honest, I don't remember any of the characters. I mean, I recognize some of them from the last season, especially the chick with the blonde hair and the bureaucrat and some of the Empire stuff was actually pretty interesting. They should have made Andor about the Empire. All the machinations, and if they're going to go all in, they should just go and focus on that, or focus on the rebellion. How it's getting started. Just pick your poison, man. I mean, come on. And then, but you get into the stuff where you have the subterfuge with Mon Mothma and all the other stuff that's going on, and the allegory for illegal aliens. Which really turned me off. To be honest, I thought it was like so obviously in your face and stupidly done. And I mean, they could have done it way more clever than that. I mean, the whole idea behind it, I mean, it's an empire, for God's sake. They're gonna do shit like that. I mean, it's one thing if the rebellion, I mean, the republic did it, but it's another thing. You assume the empire is gonna do shit like that. I mean, come on, let's make the empire more evil than it really is, and then there's a scene in there that to me is very questionably not Star Wars, where, spoilers, there's an attempt, assault on a female. I don't want to get into the details of it, but let's just say it seems very out of place in a Star Wars movie. In fact, in a lot of ways, I thought the scene reminded me of Inglorious Bastard scenes with the Nazis. I mean, there's no doubt that the Empire is an allegory for Nazis, and or the bad guys from World War II. But and George Lucas made no secret of that, to be honest, and that's fine. We're supposed to hiss the bad guys, and stuff like that. But come on, man. The Star Wars is supposed to be a simple story of good and evil, and this is the kind of stuff. I mean, this is for a kids audience. What is this for? Star Wars is meant to be for a kids audience. They're not winning over a new generation with this kind of stuff. And it would have been. This reminded me more of modern science fiction movies, which try to overly preach or do stuff that's just like not fun anymore. Star Wars is not fun anymore. Nowhere in Andor did I realize. Maybe there was a couple of scenes where Cass, meets up with some. I don't even know if they're rebels or what. They never explained to me who they were. Were they pirates? Were they smugglers? Were they would-be rebels? I mean, I have no idea. I don't remember a single character in that whole interaction where he crashes lands on the planet and meets up with them. And I mean, I don't want to get into spoilers because I want you to see for yourself and judge for yourself. But I will tell you, my impression of this series is not a good start. I mean, I'm going to watch the remaining series, see if it gets better, and because I'm such a Star Wars fanatic. But I'm quickly losing faith in Disney's ability to handle a property as iconic as Star Wars is. And it's a shame, too, because you would think that would be a great fit. Unfortunately, they're putting people who have no ideas what Star Wars is, what it means, and how to approach it. It's a shame, really. It really, because Disney, with all their money, all their influence, all their ability to get talent, can't seem to make a decent Star Wars. I know a lot of people. If you do like Andor, that's fine. I have no problem with that. You want to like Andor, that's fine. But for me, it's not Star Wars. I mean, I will say that the acting's not bad. It's, okay. Nothing really stood out for me as far as the acting was concerned. It was competent. The special effects, definitely top notch. They certainly spent the money on effects and sets and designs and stuff like that. It made it look like Star Wars, but it had no heart, had no soul. It had no real message other than modern day. I mean, people say, "Oh yeah, well, Star Wars original was an allegory for Vietnam." Yeah, right. That George Lucas can say that all day long, but we know that he just wanted to make us a rousing, and he even said so himself. He just wanted to make a old-fashioned serial to appeal to kids. I mean, come on, that's just the fact of the matter. So, do I recommend Star Andor? Well, if you like the first season, you'll probably like this one. So I'm not going to poo-poo it. As far as my opinion of it, but for me, I thought it was kind of boring. It was confusing. There's four or five different storylines going on at the same time, and they kept switching back and forth, back and forth. I couldn't keep track of any of it. Stick to one story and do that. They could have just done one story where Cass crashes lands on that planet and escapes. They could do another story where the Empire is talking about taking over another planet, and rounding up, illegals or whatever you want to call them. You could do a third story where they talk about the Mon Mothma's daughter's wedding. I mean, come on, and then connect all those storylines, near the end of the season somehow. But as it stood, it kept switching back and forth, back and forth. They don't even do the wipes anymore. And it used to be that Star Wars did those wipes to do a scene transition. Now they just, oop, you're into the next scene. Oop, you're in the next. It's just a continuation of the last scene. I mean, you get confused, and they don't seem related at all in any shape or form. It seems like they're all doing something, that they're not intricate. Now there were some scenes where they were interconnected, and they should have just used those scenes. And it's just one of those things where I just felt that it just was not Star Wars. Now, like I said, I'm going to go watch the rest of the series and give you my opinion, or my thoughts on the rest of the series as it goes along. But for now, the first 3 episodes were a jumbled mess, and it's a glorious mess, but it's still a jumbled mess. And, I'm going to. I will say though, it was a lot more interesting than the last season. But the last season seemed to be more cohesive and made more sense. We followed one character, and that was all we. Really, we followed the main character, and everything else. It's just like they don't want to decide who the main character is going to be in Andor and stick with that. The thing about good series is that you you attach yourself to one character and you follow his adventures, and this doesn't seem to follow that at all. I don't know who to root for. I don't know who to be sympathetic for. I don't know who to follow. It just makes no sense. I don't know who the main character is, you know. But anyway, that's my thoughts, and hopefully, you know, it will get better as the series progresses. So as also a reminder, we only have like 5 days left on my Indiegogo campaign for Tomorrow Girl Flight to the Future crowdfunder. And if you're interested in backing it, the link will be below. So until next time, this is Ben Dunn signing off.
Hey there. Do you like action, adventure, and a return to classic superheroes? Then you'll love Tomorrow Girl Flight to the Future, a 128-page full-color collection of her best stories now on Indiegogo. Be a backer today. Link down below.